Welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. This one's going to look a little different, it's going to feel a little different, and it's going to sound a little different. I was fortunate enough to have a booth at the NRA Annual Meetings Radio Row, which is something new the NRA is doing at their annual meetings. I was able to do a number of audio-only interviews, and what you're about to hear is one of those. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. If you're listening to the show in podcast form, please leave a positive review. And if you like the show, share it with your friends, because that is how we get the Stagecoach across America. Welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. This is one of our pit stop episodes that we are recording in audio only at the NRA Annual Meetings in Atlanta 2025. And my guest for this segment is Philip Van Cleave from the Virginia Citizens Defense League. Yep. Thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie.
This is great. You've been around the gun community for forever.
It seems like
don't take it the wrong way. It only feels like forever, right?
Yeah, I guess I first got involved in about 1995.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's
I've been a gun owner since I was 16. But
right,
yeah, 95 I got involved with VC. Then it was the Northern Virginia Citizens Defense League.
Yeah,
which they were for a couple of years. Then they became the Virginia Citizens Defense League. They formed like just 30 guys up in Northern Virginia.
Really?
But I lived near Richmond, so they couldn't. It took them hours to get to Richmond to lobby. But I lived there. I didn't know anything about lobbying, but it ended up being a marriage in heaven. I went down just to lobby because I was close. I thought, we need to fight for gun rights. I didn't even know they existed. I walked right into them. Oh, and wow. It was like, wow, you live down here and you could
you could do this for us?
You could get there like this.
Yeah.
So it went from there. I became an executive member and then a vice president for 3 years and then president since 2001.
That's great.
Yeah, I love doing this. Gun owners are the best people. I just have more fun with them.
So when I tell people they're the best people, I have one story. It's a manifestation story, and I was going to interview some people in Philly, and this was just after NRA in India a couple of years ago, and I didn't have a hotel. And I told my buddy, I said, I'm going to stay with one of our friends down there. And he's like, did you tell her? I said, no, I didn't. So I went down, I filmed the shows, and then I went to dinner with this gal and her husband. And she's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, well, my plans for tomorrow fell through, so I think I'm just going to drive home. It's like 5 hours. So she's like, why don't you come stay at our house? We'll see if we can find some other people for you to interview the next day. And I'm like, there we go. Yeah. So I've met her a few times, never met her husband. We go out to eat. I sleep on the couch, like everything's cool. These are gun owners. People that are, come over, stay at our house. I'm here in Atlanta. I'm staying at a friend's house too. So I'm tactically frugal.
Yeah, it's I can give you endless cases of just how nice people are. It's just a wonderful community to be part of. I mean, after our meetings, people hang around. We have to run them out of the room finally because they're closing the building down, right. But they enjoy their conversations with each other. The gun control crowd, man, when the meetings are over, everybody spreads. It's like they don't even like each other. So it's like...
I can't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them either.
Right. It's the old, the old, I used to play in a band and we'd say, listen, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Right. You guys got to leave. We got to lock up the place here. That's great. You, what's the difference between some of the other organizations and the Citizens Defense League?
Well, we're fall in the category of no compromise. We like to get in there and fight hard, but we focus on the state and local government. In fact, even if a locality isn't issuing permits the way they're supposed to be for concealed carry, we'll get involved. We'll give them a call. Usually it just takes a call.
Right.
We had one circuit court clerk that wasn't doing their job properly. And the calls didn't work, so we went to the Supreme Court. We had lawyers go to the Supreme Court in Virginia, and they issued a writ of mandamus, and that got her attention. That was it. We didn't have any problems with her, and the word kind of spread.
It kind of spreads, right? You don't want to mess with these guys.
These guys mean that when they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it.
So right, no compromise is not really that hard to figure out.
No, yeah, that's right. Right. But so we do that. We're a watchdog. We also educate. In fact, it's funny. The BATF was at a gun show, and we always have tables at the gun show, and people were coming up and asking them about Virginia gun laws. They said, "Go talk to VCDL." That was the BATF.
Oh my gosh, that's great. That's great. You guys had a huge rally a couple of years ago.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, and I pre-COVID, right?
Yeah, yep, just barely.
Just barely. Yeah, I find one of the things that I find is interesting is I get to travel around the country and go places and see people and whatnot. And I hate saying this about my home state, but it's hard to get gun owners. First of all, I think in Massachusetts there's 600 or 660,000 people that have licenses to carry. And we have to have a license to possess, so you can't tell somebody that says they want to learn how to shoot. You can't tell them to go to the gun store and get some ammo because you can't have ammo without a permit. But there's only 20,000 members, I think, of the state's pro-gun group of the Gun Owners Action League. And then when you hear that 20,000 people went to your rally,
you're like, just the fenced-in area. We had a total of over 50,000 all around. If you see the actual back off, it was wall. One side of the street all the way to the walls, it was people stacked up. It was incredible. It would have been more. Keep in mind, our governor back then was very anti-gun, and him and even the various like the state police were putting out things that were scaring people, like there could be some troublemakers there and stuff like that. Right. None of that happened, of course.
I know? I heard this. I hope this is just a rumor, but it'd be a funny one. Did somebody show up with a guillotine?
Yeah, they had somebody had a guillotine out in the streets.
I love that. Right, listen, you can't have it. You can always bring guns, but we'll bring a guillotine. We're going to get right to the point. That's incredible. That is awesome.
Yeah, they had what triggered a lot of that was that the governor said, well, we haven't really decided if we want to confiscate AR-15s and ban them. That finally woke up a whole bunch of people that had been sleeping. A lot of gun owners like to sleep a lot. They really aren't paying attention. This got their attention. Yeah. And the very next day, after that huge crowd was there, the very first committee that met heard that bill, immediately killed it. I mean, it was like they withdrew it. It was like, boom, gone, the big one. Now, some other stuff got pushed through, but it was almost all of it was watered down. They went way down from what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Like we got stuck with red flag. But it's probably the least egregious in America. We'll eventually try to get rid of this thing. But this one, very, very narrow, and it even requires the police do an investigation and report to a judge what they found independently that would prove that this person was a problem. So I don't like this law, but I have to say that it's as narrow. And again, thanks to that 50,000. Now, how do you get the 50,000 to show up every time? That's the problem.
There's the rub.
There's the rub, and that's one of our projects we're looking at. I don't know if it'll be possible, but we want to reach out to hunters organizations. We want to reach out to the people that do cowboy action. Everything, all these different aspects of people that aren't always necessarily deeply involved in guns, and try to come up with some videos and some things to get them motivated to become involved. We like the NATO Article 5, where an attack on any gun owner would be an attack on all gun owners. If we could pull that off, there are 100 million gun owners. There's nothing we couldn't do if we all pull together, but I know we're not going to get all of them. Some people, they don't want to get out of their seat to even vote. But we can get more. I'm convinced we can get more people involved.
For sure. I like to say that there are people that want to hunt don't want to carry concealed. The people that want to carry concealed don't want to hunt, and nobody knows what's going on with the shotgunners. Right?
And it's funny because it's an element of truth.
It's funny because it's true, because the shotgun guys are the guys that, we sit here and talk about safe directions and all that sort of stuff, and they put the barrel right on their foot as they're waiting their turn to shoot. That doesn't seem to be a safe place, but I get it. I get it. I think I jokingly tell people that my gun safety book is going to be called "Let's Not Be Ridiculous." Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay, your foot's not a safe direction, but the action's open.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Yeah, there's. I also think that the gun owners aren't created equally, right? And I was early on, before I had a show, I was just a gun instructor, and I was in a local coffee shop doing some stuff, and I hear these guys talking about hunting. So I went over and said, hey, these are gun guys. They already have a license. But if you know someone else, here's my card. I teach classes. And there's a picture of a handgun on this. And this guy's like, oh, my God, we would never have handguns. Handguns are dangerous. I'm like, what do you mean handguns are dangerous? He's like, oh, I had a friend that couldn't remember the combinations for his safe, so he tried shooting his safe open, and the bullets ricocheted. I'm like, it's got nothing to do with a handgun, man. It really doesn't, And that really solidified that gun owners are not created equally.
Yes. The fact that, some people just fall into that trap. And of course, the gun controllers have been setting up that trap of thinking as a gun as a separate commodity that is evil in itself.
Right.
Rather than it's just a tool. You can do great things with tools, or you can do bad things with tools. Whatever
absolutely.
the tool is, whatever you pick. With a hammer, you could build a home for somebody. You can also pound their head into the ground. So it's what you do with the tool. But the gun controllers have done well on that to get us thinking gun violence. Well, it's not the gun. It's the person.
It's the person.
And luckily,
absolutely.
Trump did point that out recently. Caused their brains to melt down. But that's right. But that's what they've done. And to some degree, that's when you hear somebody say, well, the guns are dangerous and the handguns are dangerous. It's like same thinking. No.
Yeah.
The person that did the stupid thing was the dangerous one. The gun is just following orders.
Right. The gun does what it's supposed to do. You press the trigger, it goes bang. Like, that's what it does.
That's it. That's all it does.
Yeah, totally. It's completely ridiculous. So what's going to be going on for VCDL this year? What do you guys have coming up? Do you guys have any cases going on right now?
Yeah, we're suing. We got different cases going on. We've had some victories, but we're suing the state over a gun ban in rest areas. And that's hardly a sensitive government area,
right? So on one of my riding shotgun trips, I'm good friends with John Petrolino.
Oh yeah,
and so we go down from New Jersey, and we've gone down to Virginia, and so as soon as we get to Virginia, we're going to stop at a rest area. He's like, no, we can't do this here. I'm like, what? Let's not be ridiculous.
Yeah, and the Democrats won't let us repeal that one little part of it. So we got elections this year.
Yeah,
the House is up the whole House is up, and Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General all up this year. An off year for most other states.
Right.
Very important time. So this might be an opportunity to start getting some stuff done again. But you got that. We're suing over ABC stores. Well, Virginia is one of the states where the government sells alcohol.
Oh,
well, I came up from Texas, and when I saw that, I said, did they sell pantyhose? I mean, what else is the government selling? Why are they selling alcohol, of all things? But you can't carry in those stores. Again, sensitive government area? No, it's a retail store. It's just that the owner happens to be the government. We're suing on that. We're suing on the ban on guns in parks, at permitted events, and government buildings that aren't sensitive.
Right.
The Supreme Court said there are very few government buildings that qualify as sensitive. Now, of course, you've seen what New York is doing. Everything they try to make everything sensitive. But so that's we're doing that. We'll be getting ready for next year's General Assembly session, of course.
Yeah.
We'll just see what happens. Elections are going to be a big deal this year for us.
Yeah.
Our PAC will be very busy trying to get good people elected so that we got something to work with.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, listen, we need to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being on. It's nice to I know we've met before, but it's nice to have a sit down and chat and make it all official. I really appreciate this.
I'm glad we could do it.
Me too. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.